Hello and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Whatever, our weekly show where we talk about whatever we want. I'm Chris,
And I'm Brad.
and welcome back to some regularly scheduled programming. No more top fives.
No, done with
So
that.
this week on the show, we're going to be covering Hero Siege and Survivor. So up on the screen now is this awesome indie game that we discovered recently called Hero Siege. And Brad, do you want to sort of jump in because this is your gameplay that they're seeing?
Sure. So, Hero Siege, like Chris said, it's an indie game. It's a twin stick rogue light game where you're moving around with one stick and using the other stick to shoot or use your melee abilities to kill enemies, and that's pretty much the whole game is stay alive and kill anything on the screen to progress
Yeah.
further.
Yep, it's sort of standard wave-based horde mode style stuff where you go through 5 waves and then you fight a boss.
Yeah.
And at the end of defeating a boss, you get a relic, which is a special item that will either buff your stats significantly,
Yeah.
or it will be like a little floater thing that will follow you around and attack enemies or heal you or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting structure because, as Brad said, it's a rogue light. So you keep your progression for the levels every time you die. But when you do die, you lose your items and you lose your gold and things like that.
Yeah.
So you get to maintain like the stat points that you add to either strength, swiftness, armor, and stamina. And you also keep any points that you invest in the skill tree. And Brad, as you've always said, that has a big impact on the starting area of the game, right?
Yeah, eventually you'll get to a point where the stat points that you allocate are kind of negligible, but for the first act, you kind of need those points to to kind of keep up and progress through the first act at least.
Yeah. But then later on in the game, once you've invested a few hours into it, it gets to a point where, you're level 30 and you have maybe like 20 or so points in maybe strength, but then you get a relic that gives you plus 100 strength.
Yeah.
So that it's, a big gap there.
Yeah.
It's really a game that's all about the relics. And there are some awesome relics and
Yeah,
some
the
hilarious.
yeah. Uh yeah, the gameplay that you're watching, the first little bit is when I first started playing, and then it'll shift over to when I'm a little deeper in the game and go through Act 2, 3, and 4, and you'll see a whole bunch of stuff flying around with me, and all the relics that I pick up and the stat bonuses that I get from them, so you can kind of get a feel for how the game changes as you put more time into it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this game. So
Yeah,
yeah, check it out.
I'm really glad you found it because yeah, for a couple days put in a lot of time on it.
Hmm. And you can grab it for $1.50 at Bundle Bandits, which is some like indie bundle site, and it's definitely worth $1.50. I would say it's worth the $10 that they're selling it for on Steam, but
Definitely.
you can get it for $1.50. You might as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know if that bundle's still available now?
I think it was 10 days left in the bundle when I purchased it,
Okay.
so
So we should
should still be
still
up for the next little while.
okay. Hopefully when we upload this it's still good.
Yep.
Um
Let's
okay.
have a look now. Yeah, it
All
should
right.
also be mentioned that we are not playing as we are
Right.
talking this time around.
Yeah, we're just trying out something a little differently. Just maybe get a little bit of a better discussion going because it is kind of hard to play and have interesting and well thought out discussions at the same time. We might go back to the other format, but for now, we're just going to give this a trial run.
Yeah, and to answer that last question, it's available at Bundle Bandits for the next 6 days, and it's available at Flying Bundle for the next 9 days. Flying Bundle is $3, not $1.50. So, whatever. Still
Still,
pretty cheap.
it's still pretty cheap. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yep.
Excellent. So that's Hero Siege, and the gameplay will be in the background. Enjoy, or you can just listen to our amazing discussions about Survivor.
Oh yes.
which
Survivor has premiered, everyone. Survivor 28. Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty.
yeah.
And they put up a doozy of a premiere. It was crazy.
Yeah. I didn't know it was gonna be a 2-hour premiere, but man, I'm glad
Yeah,
it
I didn't
was.
expect that. Yeah, it was
That
crazy.
was an insane way to kick off a season.
Absolutely. So
So
the way we're planning on structuring this is going to be kind of similar to what we did in our Grand Theft Auto 4 episode, where we covered sort of all of the cast members. And we were discussing then who we thought might win based on not seeing anything, just
yeah,
based on what we know about their jobs and their age and stuff.
yeah,
But now we've seen an episode, and we're going to go in with our actual opinions on how they seem to play the game, and we're going to identify our actual pick to win the game.
yeah,
And we'll talk about the first episode.
yeah. So, uh, do you want to start with the Beauty Tribe,
Yeah.
which is Solana?
Yes, indeed.
All right.
So to start off with, there was Alexis and Jeffra, who didn't really get that much screen time, unfortunately for
Yeah.
them. But they did well enough in the challenge. They did win that.
Yeah, they won the first
They
challenge.
first they won the first challenge. Shockingly, to me at least. Like I don't know. Like it starts off physical and it goes into a puzzle. You'd expect Braun to do really well in one and Brain to do really well in the other, and
Yeah.
yet Beauty was just like, "Oh yeah, we got this."
Yeah. Well, this is this is kind of going back to what I said in the Grand Theft Auto 4 episode where, it kind of comes down to, are the Beauty Tribe members going to be complete airheads, or are they going to be able to look at a puzzle and go, "Yes, I understand spatial reasoning and this goes here and there." Like and it turns out, yeah, they can do that. So,
Good for them.
yeah, good for them. Uh, so which I mean that's important. That's gonna keep the game interesting, and they're not gonna
Yeah,
just get
gonna keep
rolled.
the game mildly one-sided, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Anyone who saw the Brain Tribe absolutely was just such a mess. It was just the worst performance, as Jeff said, the worst performance out of the gate of any tribe in any season. They just fell apart. They couldn't do anything
That
right.
was the funniest thing on Survivor in so long.
Oh,
I Oh my god, it was so funny. I can't believe how much of a train wreck they were.
they're supposed to be smart, but they couldn't figure out how to get the chest through
They
the frame.
It,
Just
they
like
they just crammed the chest through the gate and just thrust it onto the ground on the other side. There was nobody there to catch it.
and it just blows open. There's puzzle pieces everywhere.
That was so
Disaster.
funny. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
back to beauty.
Back on track.
Yes. Up next is Bryce.
Yeah.
He had good game awareness. He was clued into the fact that people were pairing off,
Yeah.
but he was still alone. So he latched onto Morgan and said, "Me and you, we got this."
Yeah,
Which
it
was
was
very smart.
Morgan and one other guy. Do you remember which guy it was? 'Cause
Um,
he recognized that was it LJ or was it Jeremiah?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, Morgan and one other guy were like hanging out a lot, and the
Oh, it
guy
was
was like kind of puppy dog eyesing.
yeah, yeah. That would be Jeremiah, I guess, because LJ was one who was very much able to see through her bullshit. Kind of.
Right. Okay.
He was like,
Yeah.
that was actually his reasoning to send her off on her own early on, was that she's hot. The other two girls are cute, and he trusts cute more than he trusts hot,
Yeah.
which is a
That's
pretty decent first impression thing to go on when you have nothing else.
yeah. It's pretty funny. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's actually talk about that a little bit. The very first thing that the tribes had to do
Yeah,
was just based on first impressions, just choose someone to be the leader. And so everybody chose for the Beauty Tribe. It was LJ.
yeah.
Um, for the Bronze Tribe, it was who was it?
Sarah.
It was Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah, you're right. It was Sarah. And then for the Brains Tribe, it was David.
David, yes.
And then that
Those leaders then had to choose the weakest person that they believe, the person that they believe is weakest on their tribe,
Yeah.
and send them
they didn't know.
away. They didn't even know.
Send-
They just
yes.
had to choose the weakest. Yeah.
Right. Which I like that because I mentioned this when we were watching the episode. I was season 19, I think, was Russell's first season. And in that season, right at the beginning, they said elect a leader. And the tribes just had to do that based on first impressions. And that was it. That was the end of it, and they had to make some decision for the tribe. But then you look at this season, and they added another layer on top of that, which welcome back to the weekly whatever. Just had a few technical difficulties, but we're back. And where we left off, I was talking about how this season of Survivor added another layer to that kind of intro twist where they elected a leader and then made that leader make a very tough decision and kind of alienate one person on the tribe. Which
Yep.
I love. I love that Survivor continues to evolve like that.
For sure, yeah.
So we said that it was Sarah that was the leader on the Brawn tribe, and it was David on the Brains tribe, and it was LJ on the Beauty tribe. Right. So you mentioned that LJ said Morgan was the weakest, and because she was hot, not cute, and can't trust hot, but you can trust cute.
Yeah. Yeah, it was clever that he sort of just isolated her because he felt like, if she was gone right now, he'd be totally okay with it.
Yeah. It's really smart. That's a guy who has his head screwed on right for the game.
Mm-hmm.
Which I like that. For the Bronze tribe, it was Sarah saying Trish,
Yes.
the mom and the Pilates instructor on the
From
Bronze
Boston.
tribe. Yes. Which was interesting. It was especially because Jeff had asked Trish, why Sarah? Why is Sarah the leader of this tribe? And
she had nothing bad to say. She only had good stuff to say.
That's
And
only
then
good.
she turns around and says, "Well, see ya."
Yeah, that's really fun. That's a great thing about the twist, and that's probably why Jeff asked her that question too. Is like she might be the one that is picked as the weak link, so I'm gonna ask her to kind of just stir the
That's a
pot
good
little
point.
bit.
Yeah.
And then the Brains tribe showing their brilliance. David says Garrett, the strongest man on their tribe by a mile, is the weakest member of their tribe.
And sends him off and says it's because he's thinking about the last 2/3 of the game. Let's leave David for now because we are going to work our way down.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of words for the Brains tribe.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Don't worry, dear viewer.
Yeah. So
we'll get to that.
That was the opening twist, and I like that. That was cool.
Yeah.
So we actually went off on that tangent. I think I derailed us because it was we're talking about Bryce, and now he was very aware of kind of what was going on in his tribe and realized he needed to make an alliance, and he said he was like the wingman, and he was making sure Jeremiah could stay close to Morgan, and he started working with those two.
Yeah.
Which that's really smart, and that's really some heads up gameplay from him really early on.
Definitely.
So I like that. Okay. Yeah. Jeremiah.
Also low on screen time, but
all we really saw was him kind of puppy dog eyes for Morgan, and then
I think we all had puppy dog eyes for Morgan.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be real. But yeah, he didn't have much screen time, but it doesn't look like he's really thinking that clearly.
No, he's sort of just going with the flow. You always get people like him,
Yeah. Yeah.
Fabios or
The
whatever.
Yeah, but somehow they can win a game if they play the right
Yep.
social game. Um, but that's so yeah. Again, he didn't not get much screen time. Not too much we can say about him. LJ, we've talked about a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, he has his head screwed on right, but he was elected the leader of the tribe, and that's a bad spot to be, especially because I don't see anyone else on that tribe really stepping up and taking that leadership role.
Hmm.
So he's kind of always going to have that target on his back, and he's a big guy, like he's the biggest guy in the tribe.
Yeah.
So he can't
He'll be one
exactly
to
hide
watch
anywhere.
if he makes it to the merge,
Yeah,
but I don't know if he will.
yeah, he's not in that 3-person alliance, so he's already in a bit of a tricky spot.
Yep.
All right, last one was Morgan again. She was with Jeremiah and Bryce, and was picked as the weakest one, which is not where you want to be, but in a 3-person alliance, she's pretty safe.
Yep. And when she was selected, she was sent to the camp ahead of everyone else
Right.
to make a choice. And she was given the opportunity to either get an additional bag of rice, more food for the tribe, or get a clue to the hidden immunity idol.
Right.
And she chose to be selfish and take the clue to look for the idol, which I think is the right choice. I think she made the right decision. I mean,
I
but
think
it's
she
only the right
made the right
decision if you
decision.
find it.
Yeah.
She did not.
I agree with you that she made the right decision, and she didn't find it. She took a long time and kind of blew it, and her tribe made it back to camp. So she kind of had to walk back towards the tribe after being way out in the water up on some rocks. And it's like,
She showed a really good ability to think on her feet, though, and she was a good liar because she said, "Oh yeah, do you guys like what I chose? I chose, fishing gear instead of comfort pillows and stuff."
yeah,
I think it was very
that
clever.
was really smart. Yeah, thinking on her
Yeah.
feet,
So,
very good.
but then you get flip side. LJ is still very suspicious. He's still seeing through her bullshit, and he was like, "I think she has like a clue to the idol or something." And
Yeah,
I was
just
like,
immediately it's like,
"Whoa."
wow, this guy. Yeah, he's ready to go. I like that.
Yeah.
So hopefully he doesn't kind of get any puppy dog eyes for the other two girls, and hopefully keeps playing that kind of strategic game, because that would
Yep.
be a real shame to just he showmances for a whole tribe. um,
It
all
is the
right,
tribe though, so we wouldn't be that
it is
surprised.
no, but I don't want that.
I
This is Survivor, not Big Brother. We are held to a higher standard here.
know.
um, all right, so that's the Beauty Tribe. Didn't get all that much screen time for good reason. They did well in the challenges.
Yeah.
Coming back, who was it? Um, I don't remember who it came down to in the second immunity challenge. I don't remember who came second in that one.
It was the Beauty who came second. Braun won.
Okay, I don't remember who was doing that puzzle
Um. Ooh, good question.
because they brought it back, man.
Yeah, I think it was Alexis.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
We have the episodes. We could
Yeah, we
actually
do.
open it.
Someone who is me.
If you
Can't
if you want
that.
to bring that open,
Yep.
bring that up, and find out. And while you do that, I'm actually going to talk about the first member of the Braun tribe. Apari is the tribe name. And the first member on this tribe is Cliff. Cliff Robinson, the former NBA All-Star, and he was good.
Huh. Sorry. So to answer your question,
Yep.
it was actually LJ who did the puzzle for them.
Okay. I thought it was
Yeah.
a guy. Nailed it. So that was a really impressive performance by him. He brought it back.
Yeah. So again, LJ showing that he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
He can handle things.
He can.
Take care of business.
Yep. All right. So the Braun tribe. Cliff,
Cliff.
first member. He was good.
Cliff is so likable. That's
Yeah.
just what he brings to the table. Like, he is a guy that can really just bring people together, and I don't know, just like if he was sitting in front of a jury, I feel like they would give it to him just because he's a nice guy.
Yeah. The only problems I see coming up for Cliff is that again he's a really big guy. He's got nowhere to hide. and he's always going to be a target
Yeah.
from everyone else that isn't on his tribe and already in love with him.
Yeah.
Except for Tony. Was it Tony
Tony.
that was
Yeah.
not in
He's
the
not
the
drinking the
tribe?
Kool-Aid.
Yeah. um. So, I mean, Cliff's in a good spot, but yeah, again, I really foresee some serious problems for him because he is such a gigantic guy.
Yeah. Yep.
All
And then
right.
you have someone like Lindsay, who's kind of making waves, kind of rubbing some people the wrong way, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, particularly Trish and Tony.
Yeah.
I know they weren't fans of her, but I don't know. Maybe it's a two-way street because I don't know. I feel like that was kind of an edit where we didn't get the whole story. I don't know. What do you think there?
Probably. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Um, but I mean, even if it is an edit, she's kind of casting herself out by making waves like that. Even if it's both sides, I mean, you don't want to be a part of that at
Yeah.
all. And I don't get the sense that she's going to be backing down from anything.
Yeah.
And at the early stages of the game, I think that's exactly what you want to do is just kind of blend in and go with the tribe and not stir up anything. And I don't see her letting anything
Yeah.
go.
She's another person who might talk her way out of the game,
Yeah.
along with Tony, who you said.
I called that fucking instantly.
Yeah.
Just based on his profession and just how he look. He looks like he's not gonna be able to keep his mouth shut. And
And yet, first thing he does is he refuses to tell anyone that he's a cop.
that, yeah,
Kind of surprising.
that was really surprising. And like that's a weird thing to lie about. And I understand his reasoning,
Hmm.
but I mean,
When he found out she was a cop, I kind of thought he was gonna be like, "Oh, okay, we can trust each other because we're both cops. Let's
yeah,
do this." But he didn't.
no, and he's just lying to a cop,
Yeah.
which
And
is
she's seeing through it, which is why I like her so much. Sarah
yeah,
was talking about.
yeah.
She, interrogates people every day for her job, and she knows when she's being lied to, and she can see through his shit.
Yeah.
So I have a good feeling about her.
Yeah, she had him pegged and she knew she knew he was lying and she kept telling him just like stop lying to me and he kept going with it
Yeah.
and right away he's already someone she can't trust and that's not a position you want to be in and especially for a guy that isn't going to be able to keep his mouth shut. He needs numbers, man.
Yeah.
He needs people. And right now he does not have people.
Yeah. The balance of it looks like, you know, him and Trish, and then you have Sarah and Lindsay, and I guess Cliff. I don't know where Wu sits.
Cliff and Wu are super tight. They went out fishing together and took the
Right.
boat
Yeah.
because balance is hard. And but yeah, no, Cliff and Wu are super tight. I think Sarah's right there with them.
Yeah.
And,
And Sarah kind of brings in Lindsay.
and yeah, so yeah, Trish is kind of on the outs just because of she is the weak link and that sucks. And Lindsay was at odds with Trish.
But I
So
wouldn't say Trish is really hurting them as a tribe in terms of challenges or anything
no,
like that. So
certainly
being a
not.
wink link isn't really crushing her at this point.
No,
Which is
but
good.
the only problem is if they lose a challenge,
It's gonna be her.
it's gonna be her, 100%, unless Tony or Lindsay talk themselves out of the game.
Yeah.
So, I think that would be interesting. I'm actually, I mean, I like, and this is actually going back to Cliff and a little bit to Wu for the last guy in the tribe. I don't know where they are strategically, socially. Cliff is very liked, and
Yep.
Wu's right there. He's in a good spot, being his right hand man, because he's not gonna be the first target.
Yeah, he's the Pippin.
Yeah, exactly. He's the Pippin. So they're in good spots, but once they start to lose challenge or they have to actually talk strategy, I don't know. Like, are they going to be able to do that? Are they good at it? Or are they just going to
Yeah.
kind of botch it completely? So that's something that we'll have
Tough
to
to say
see.
at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will see.
All right. we talked about Tony quite a bit, and Trish again. She's kind of on the bottom.
Yeah, she was presented with the same choice as Morgan was, and she chose the bag of rice for everyone.
Yeah.
And she told them that.
Yeah.
And then you immediately have Tony saying, well, not to the tribe, to
Yeah.
the camera. He told in private, he said he definitely would have chosen the clue,
Yeah.
which again makes sense. But it was kind of funny the way he put it.
Yeah, for her, I think the right choice would have been the idol or the clue
Yeah.
to the idol.
Yeah, for anyone, that's the right choice.
I disagree on the third one, but we'll get there. But for Morgan and for Trish, the right choice was searching for the idol because they are on the bottom and they're gonna need it, or they were
Yep.
on the bottom. Morgan's kind of moved up. Anyway, that is the Braun tribe.
And then we arrive.
The geniuses.
The Brains tribe. Oh my god.
So I want to take us back. I want to take us back to the Grand Theft Auto episode where we're talking about the Brains tribe and your people, and you have to believe that one of these people
yes,
can
one
win
of them,
this game.
I believe.
And this
Seriously, like, I mean, I want to believe, but this is just either poor casting for the category, or I don't know what to say because they are spectacularly bad at the game.
Oh
It's
man,
a complete mess.
I will say, and to your credit, you did pick Cass as your going on no actual knowledge.
Yeah,
Just on
looks.
look. You did pick Cass, the lawyer, to win the game, and she is actually not
Most level-headed, stable of the bunch.
Yeah, her and
knows what's going on.
Spencer, I
Yeah.
would say, are
Maybe
totally-
Tasha as well.
maybe, but she didn't have the sense to kind of like, all right, Jatia, you're out of your mind. Like,
She
just-
did eventually.
Yeah, a little late, I think. But yeah, I think those three maybe Tasha, but Cass and Spencer for sure were sort of seeing the game the way it was actually playing out.
Yep.
But let's just
Start with David. Yeah.
let's start with David, the leader of the tribe, because he was wearing a blazer on the beach.
This is a guy who is hyper aggressive and is
Wow.
thinking about day 39 right out the gate. And the problem with that is when you do that, you can do that. That's fine. But don't tell everyone that
Yeah.
you're doing that.
Yeah.
You can't make yourself out as this person who's gaming so hard because no one's going to trust you. Everyone's
Yeah.
going to think you're playing them and you're going to get voted out.
I
And
think
basically what happened.
Yeah, you can look at when Rob Mariano played in his winning season. He got on the beach and he's talking to the camera about day 39. He's talking about getting to the end the whole way, but he never once said it to the tribe. That's stupid.
Exactly.
He's talking about tribe unity and keeping everybody together and loyal and creating this culture, and people call it a cult, but he created that culture of togetherness and only this tribe. And
Yep.
And David's just, I need to get this guy out of here because I can't beat him in the end, and that's on day 1, 5 minutes into the game. That's the wrong way to be going about that.
Oh, yeah.
So just a refresher, he said Garrett, who is the biggest guy. He is huge and
Yep.
really fit, and he's the weakest member of this tribe. What?
I mean, if I was him and I really wanted to do that, I would have maybe done that and said, I would have qualified it by saying, like, yeah, this guy looks like he belongs in the Braun tribe, and this is the Brains tribe. So I'm going to say he's the weakest among us when we consider Brains as the most important.
Yeah.
And then it would have made some sense, maybe.
Yes.
I don't know.
I think that's the right way to go about it without saying I can't beat him in the end.
Yeah.
I think I think that's the only play you can make if you still want to get Garrett out.
Yeah.
So that was bizarre, and Jeff just had he was completely blown away. It's like,
Jeff had
really?
some fun with it.
Yeah. Um. So, do you want to run
I
down?
want to leave Garrett for last if we can.
Okay. Do you want to run down the other cast members and then do Garrett and then just kind of talk about the tribe and what happened with them in general?
I
Or
think we'll probably end up weaving what happened in general
okay.
into each cast member's stuff.
All right. Let's skip Jatia too then. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go to like Spencer.
Okay. Let's go to Spencer.
Welcome back to the Weekly Whatever. We've just recovered from yet another set of technical difficulties, this time on my end. But let's jump right back in, and we were talking about Spencer.
Yep.
So this is a guy who was very much willing to go with the flow, but at the same time, he was super critical of his tribe mates. Like every time someone did something, he would eventually cut to him in a confessional, and he'd be saying, "This is such a stupid decision by David," or "This is such a dumb decision by Cass," or something.
Yeah.
I always felt like he was sort of just he never was in a position where he had to make a real decision
Right.
till the first tribal council.
Yeah.
But he was kind of always just I don't know. I
Yeah.
thought it was weird.
I think he's equipped to play the game, but I think he's playing it with bad players.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's equipped to win the game or to go super far, but he's definitely able to recognize a bad move, but he's
Yeah.
not he can't go against it because his whole tribe is like, "Yeah, bad move."
Let's do the bad movie,
Yeah,
guys.
let's do it right now. All right. Yeah, I kind of agree that he's critical and he's correct in his criticism.
Yeah.
But yeah, he still we went with it and didn't try and convince anybody to do something a little smarter.
Yeah.
Cool. That
Yep.
is Spencer. All right.
He voted with Garrett to get rid of David. Like I just kind of want to go back to that because how the split was it was 6 members. It was Garrett had Jatia and Tasha, and they were
Yes.
going to vote for David, and it would have been a tie because the rest were going to vote for Jatia, and Garrett convinced Spencer to vote out David, and Spencer did that because of some weird like idol fear. Like he
Yeah.
thought that David might have a hidden immunity idol because he was always, going off to talk to Cass, and I don't know. That
Yeah.
was kind of weird to me. Like, if of all the people you should be thinking who might have an idol, it should be Garrett because he was there first. But
Yeah,
we put that
paranoia
together.
just kind of took over,
Yeah,
I think, and he sees them going off in pairs, and he kind of he paired up with Garrett, kind of, because he saw that David and Cass were together, and the other two girls were together, and he's like, who's left?
yeah, yeah. He did kind of have to, I guess. It's a
Yeah.
good point.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but yeah, it was a really some misplaced fear that David had an idol.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll leave more on Garrett for when we do talk
Actually,
about.
maybe we should just tackle Garrett now because he's the guy who sort of
He's
masterminds everything, and he
he's-
instigates all of the events that influence what everyone else does. So maybe we should talk about him now.
okay. Yeah, he's kind of in the middle of absolutely everything.
This guy, I mean, he started out strong, right?
Yeah.
He finds the idol.
Yeah. Let's start there. Let's just start at the beginning. He got sent to the island first, right? He has a choice: rice or idol. I think this is a time where he should have gotten more rice
Really?
for the tribe.
I mean, in
because-
hindsight, you can say that.
Okay, yeah. The ironic thing is that now they have no rice and they could have had 2 bags of rice. But he's a huge guy that is already out on his own because of a moronic decision by David. And he needs not protection, because come the first vote, in all likelihood, he really shouldn't be the target because they need him to win challenges.
Yeah.
And even if David's like, I can't beat him in the end, his tribe and maybe even David should be able to recognize we can't win without him. So they should he should be able to get this rice and say, I got us food. I could have gotten protection for myself, but I'm all about the tribe. We need to, stick together, and he needs to get back into this tribe and be a group. And he didn't do that. And so he didn't really like mend any fences with David or anything like that. No peace. He was just, I'm all me. And I think that's the wrong move, because I don't think he's on the bottom if he's not, if he assimilates himself with the tribe. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that makes sense.
The other girls, they were on the bottom, and they really are on the bottom. If they lose, they probably are the weakest members, and they get taken out. But Garrett, probably not. So I think he needs to smooth things over, and he didn't do it. And I think that was a mistake.
But the fact is, like you say, no one's going to target him. Even if he doesn't get this rice for them, he's not going to be targeted. So why not just have that hidden immunity idol in his pocket for later in the game? If he has the opportunity to get it now, get it while you can, right?
Well, yes and no. I think part of the fact that idols are just found without clues now. I don't
Yeah.
hold as much value in having a clue. I mean, these clues were like, the idol is fucking here.
I know, right?
The clues
That
were
was
really
ridiculous.
obvious.
They gave him a map? Like,
yeah.
Jesus.
So, I mean, the clues are really obvious, which is kind of stupid, but I think it's better to just play that social game early and, find an idol without a clue. Like,
Yeah.
he's on the Brains tribe, right? He should be
Legit.
able to find it.
Yeah.
So,
But then you hear him talk, and he's like, I play poker. I'm used to people bringing me chicken and vegetables. Oh my God.
yeah, this fucking
I don't want
guy.
to survive.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's whining and complaining. It's like day 5 or whatever that's happening. It's like, I'm tired. I didn't want to come out here and survive. I wanted to outwit, outlast, outplay.
This Survivor. Surviving is a major component, regardless of I would outplay, outlast.
Yeah, like the actual strategy, that's what I would love to play. But I would not be able to survive the elements. And you need to be able to survive the elements in order to play Survivor and do well. You can't be miserable the whole time. People pick up on it.
Definitely.
And oh God, I have strong dislike for Mr. Garrett.
And yet, I still liked his early game because he starts off, gets the idol, and then he felt threatened by David. So what does he do? He orchestrates his demise, and he does it properly.
Yeah.
He's able to get 2 people who know they're on the bottom and say, hey, let's get rid of David.
Yeah.
This guy who we've accidentally made the leader.
Yeah.
And they do it. He manages to pull Spencer, and they get rid of him.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
That was
the guy who was targeting him, and he did it.
Yeah, that was a really good play. That was smart. Then
But
he should have
then-
stopped.
Yeah. Then you arrive. Well, let's start with the challenge, because that happens in between. So, to continue the Brains tribe's spectacular tradition of just sucking horribly, they begin by faking you out. They have a massive lead in the physical portion of the task, where you would expect Braun to crush it. They have a massive lead, and they get to the puzzle, and then it all falls apart.
Yeah.
Jite just can't do it. Nuclear engineer doesn't have what it takes to do a puzzle
Yeah.
that, I don't even know what these people do, but the horse trainer and the police officer just demolish it
Yeah.
really fast. It was embarrassing,
Oh
and
man.
they got decimated.
It was so funny.
It was.
Jatia got like 2 pieces into the puzzle that she had an insane lead in. Oh man. That's one of the funniest things. Like, this is the thing that they're supposed to excel at, and they are the worst.
It hurts me.
Yeah. And what this means, what bombing a challenge, and this is on Jatia. They had a huge lead. and she was the one doing the puzzle, and she came nowhere close. It should be automatic. She is out.
Yes,
That should be a lock. That's easy.
it
Go
is.
home, take a nap. She is done.
It's true. Like here you have a person who is abrasive at camp. People don't like the way she treats other people. She bombs challenges.
Yep.
And what was the third thing?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, right. But she is a menace,
Yeah,
and she should go home.
absolutely.
And usually, what goes down is you go back to camp. Everybody goes, has their conversation, says, "Okay, yeah, Jatia is going home." Yep. Everybody tells Jatia, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be Spencer
Yeah.
or something,
Or Cass or
or
somebody.
Cass, yeah." And then it's simple, she goes home, blindside,
Yeah.
classic. But instead, we have Mr. Garrett, who decides to have an open forum.
Yeah.
Let's all openly discuss that we're gonna get rid of Jatea. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jatea, you're going home. No side conversations. No one leaves the campfire.
Yeah, let's just
Everyone
all
sit
stay
down.
here.
Plant yourselves here.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk this out, and then nobody moves. He's a psycho. I don't know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
It was awful.
I mean, the beginning of his rationale is okay. Everyone was around the campfire, and he put it on Cass. He's like, Cass, what do you think? Who is going home? Let's talk about this.
That's terrible.
But
Don't
he's
put
putting her
this
on the spot to
everything like that.
get her to make a decision. Are you with us or are you with them?
All right, yeah.
I understand. Like, I think that's okay. But to say no side conversations and nobody's leaving the campfire, that is lunacy. He is
you have
out
like
of his mind.
Trish, who's like losing her shit. She's like, "This is Survivor, man. What's happening?"
It's Tasha, yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Tasha.
Yeah.
Names.
Yeah. I like that, and this could be an edit, but I really like that Cass actually had to say some stuff, and she was open. It's like, yeah, Jatia, you didn't perform the challenge, and it's like, okay. And then I think Spencer was next, and he said similar things, and then it gets to Garrett. This is all his idea, and he goes, yeah, I agree, Tasha. And then just passes it off. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't like actually put anything on Jatia. He's like, no, I'm not saying bad things. It's all these other guys. But
It's not like she's gonna go to the jury though.
I agree. It's just like, oh man. And yeah, and you're right. And Tasha was freaking out. It's like this, like, because she tried to talk. She's like, I want to talk to you two, Garrett and Spencer. She was talking
Yeah.
about, and Garrett is no. Why do we need to talk about anything? We'll just stay here. And this is after he said he just wants to outwit and outplay. He doesn't want to survive. Now he doesn't want to play the game and outwit anybody.
It's so bad.
He just wants to sit and wait for tribal. Like, look,
Phenomenally
the
stupid.
guy is probably very good at poker. He's very good at reading the odds and understanding numbers and all that shit in his head, quietly to himself. But he is not fit for Survivor. He's not that smart. He's not that kind of smart.
Nope.
He does not have the social capability to handle Survivor.
So then you have Cass and Tasha who go to wash their feet after the challenge or something. I think that's what they said.
That was probably bullshit.
And then they go down there and they're talking, and Tasha's like, let's flip the game. We can do this.
Yep.
This guy's a psycho. He doesn't want us to be playing the game. Let's just play the game and get rid of him while we have numbers. Because it's 3 girls, 2 guys, we can do this.
Yeah.
And then, Garrett realizes, oh my God, 2 of my tribe members are having a side conversation. I need to put a stop to this right now. And so he marches down the beach and harasses them. Meanwhile, with Spencer, yes, that's a crucial point.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they leave Jatea at camp, sitting there by herself, knowing that she's going home because everybody hates her now.
Yes.
So what does she do? She goes a little crazy. She decides, screw all of these people. I'm going to ruin their lives. for the next 39 days. And so she dumps all of their rice in the fire. Welcome back to the weekly whatever, and we're recovering from our third instance of technical difficulties. And we're talking about Jatea, who dumped all of the rice. This is strike three for her, if you're counting at home. She has now bombed the challenge, made everyone at camp hate her, and ruined everyone's lives. So she should be a lock to go home.
It should be easy. Like,
And yet.
it's unbelievable.
So they arrive at tribal council.
Yep.
And everyone kind of knows, like, yeah, we need to just get this crazy bitch out of here.
Yeah.
And Jeff starts probing, as he does, and starts to ask, Garrett and everyone about alliances. And it starts to sort of, a picture starts to be formed that it was Cass and David against the other four. But
Yep.
then that kind of morphed and became Garrett and Spencer and Cass against Sasha and Jatea.
Yeah.
But then it was sort of blurred because they were talking about how they need to get rid of the weak players, and Cass, I guess, felt like she was at the bottom with the other two women.
Yeah.
And I think she was right to assume that Spencer would stick with Garrett to keep
Absolutely.
his strength.
Oh yeah.
And being on the bottom like that, when you have numbers, it absolutely makes sense to flip the game while you can.
Yeah. If Garrett wasn't a lunatic, Spencer would have been in a great spot. He should have stuck with Garrett.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
Garrett's an easy target, and Spencer's in a comfortable number 2 spot. So yeah, so Cass read that right, and Spencer was sort of making a decent decision.
Yeah. But man, yeah, I think since she was the only person who was really in a position to make a decision on who goes home, I think she made the right call. And keeping Jatea for one more tribal makes sense.
It's
After that, bitch gots to go.
dude, it is unbelievable that Jatea is still in the game.
Oh yeah.
She should have been gone first.
Yeah.
And now two guys, probably their two strongest guys, I don't know, David Spencer's kind of iffy, are gone.
I mean, yeah.
And I tell you, man, I can't believe she's still in the game.
If she makes it through another tribal, I will lose
It's
it.
over. Well, honestly, it's entirely possible that she could, because even though she has dumped out all their food, so now they're just going to starve. Even though like she sucks around camp, doesn't really help, and she's terrible in challenges, she's got 3 girls to Spencer. It's
But I would
entirely
like to
possible.
hope that Cass would then go with Spencer and Tasha and say, let's just get rid of her so we can win a challenge, maybe.
They're gonna have to, I think. But she's made it this far. It's entirely plausible to assume that
Yeah.
she sticks around.
awful.
Maybe if she like dumps out more of their stuff, she'll
Yeah.
stick around.
Just start
That's 'cause
burying
that's
the
a
fishing
key.
equipment or something.
Yeah. Like
Bury the flint.
I
Nobody drinks.
Okay, what I actually want to comment on something, and this is just this should have been the telltale sign that this tribe is dead. They couldn't build a shelter.
Oh, yeah.
The other tribes, Beauty Tribe got fire, boom, like that, no flint.
That was amazing. That actually really impressed me.
That was
that they were like
amazing,
flintless fire, like let's just go. That
right
was
away.
awesome.
That was so good, and that got their tribe off and running. Great job.
Yeah.
And the Braun tribe, they did a good job. They built their shelter, perfect.
Yep.
Brains tribe, with their nuclear engineer,
Oh
couldn't do it.
God.
They couldn't put a shelter together. It collapsed when someone tried to sit on it. And they're talking like, was it them? I'm pretty sure they're the ones that are like, it needs to support like 600 pounds. There's 6 of them.
I think you guys had 500 pounds.
Oh man. It's
That's
just like
700.
yeah. Like come on. This is ridiculous. That should have been just like, oh, it's gonna be like this. This is the tribe of all the smart people. They
Yeah,
couldn't put some bamboo together to support them.
just pathetic.
So they were so unbelievably dysfunctional until that second challenge in the first half, which they looked like, oh,
Just
okay.
crushed it. It's like
Yeah. So
I
David was the
really wanted to
problem.
believe they were like, okay, here we go, just smooth sailing from here on out.
Yeah, David really
Reigns to
was
the
the
win.
problem. Let's go. We'll be fine. No, no. A couple days later, they're down another person, their strongest guy. They have no food. And oh man. I'm so excited for the next episode now
Oh
because
yeah.
it was such a train wreck.
Like at this point, it's very safe to say it's gonna. Well, I think it's safe to say that it's gonna be like Malcolm and Denise's tribe. They completely self-destructed and ended up
Yeah.
just being the two of them, who were then split off into the other two tribes. I think
Yeah.
it's like that.
I think it'll be like that with maybe Cass
Cass
and
and
Spencer, maybe Cass
Spencer
and
or
Tasha.
Cass and Tasha. Yeah.
Those are the only two possibilities there.
That's why, you know, Cass could pull a Denise and just take it
Yeah,
all
she could.
home.
Yeah, she could go to every tribal and be just fine.
I love that story. Denise going
It's
to every
incredible.
single tribal.
That is
That's
absolutely
magic.
incredible. Yeah. And
You
I did.
imagine Tay doing it?
No.
Tay goes all the way home.
Nope.
A million
couldn't do it.
bucks.
She's just gonna every tribe she goes to, she just dumps out the rice. She's like Russell. She's just creating chaos so she can control how people think.
That shit's nuclear, yo.
She's a nuclear bomb maker, according to Garrett.
Was it Garrett?
It was either Garrett or David.
Yeah, it was one
I
of
don't know. That doesn't matter. They're home now.
them.
Oh man, it was just. Oh man, it was a really fun first episode.
Wildly
And
entertaining.
yeah, because it was so unexpected. No one anticipated the Brains tribe just completely self-destructing like that.
If this was the beauty tribe, if all the stuff happened to the beauty tribe, I
Yeah.
would have been like, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that makes sense.
sense.
Yeah,
They're airheads.
stereotypes persist. Yeah,
Yeah.
would have made perfect sense.
But no.
Nope. You're smart people dropping the ball here.
Bad.
Yeah.
So I think now's the time to move to our pick to win.
Yeah.
Or picks to win. Case may
Our
be.
picks. Pick. Yeah.
Yep.
So
So are we on the same page here? I think we are.
as much as I don't really necessarily like having the same pick because it makes it a little less fun.
Because it's not
Uh,
competitive anymore. We're just both rooting for the same person. I get that.
yeah.
But I mean, you got to go with who you really think is going to take
Yeah,
all the way.
absolutely. There's only one person that really stood out to me.
And that is Sarah, the police officer who can read people really well. It seems.
Yeah. From the
That-
Braun tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That interrogation technique or skill that she has is definitely going to take her far. She can tell when people are bullshitting her. So,
Yeah. Yeah, she's physically capable to handle herself in challenges.
Yeah.
You see her picking up a few individual immunities.
absolutely. Some endurance stuff. She's
Yeah.
going to go far for sure.
Absolutely. And yeah, she can read people really, really well. And I think she's smart enough to know when to keep her mouth shut. And she was able to put herself out there and be the puzzle doer for the tribe. And she won. She came through.
Yeah.
So, she's putting herself in a good light.
Yep.
So yeah, we absolutely agree. She is the pick to win. I knew right away, and I had said Wu.
Yeah.
Was my pick to win on the Braun trial. I knew right away when he got about 4 seconds of screen time in the first hour of the show. I was like, oh, okay. So Wu's not gonna win. He's not being introduced to us at all. But I'm still gonna be quietly rooting for him. But I think Sarah is the one.
Another reasonable pick, I think, would be LJ. Just
Yeah.
because good at puzzles, strong dude, can see through people's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's Morgan's bullshit. I don't know. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just because he inherently doesn't trust her because she's hot.
Yeah.
And then maybe that won't translate to other people.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It is. But no, I think that's a reasonable pick. Just as another name, but
Yeah.
not
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 my
who we
actual.
think. The only trouble I see him is like I said before, he's a really big guy, and
Yeah.
he's going to be the target from at the merge coming out of that tribe. I think he's the guy that people are going to look to and go, okay, we got to get rid of him.
Yep.
All right.
That's a shame. But
Yeah.
yeah, great episode. Looking forward to more.
Definitely. It looks like it's going to be a really, really good season.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. You want to take us out?
I will absolutely take us out. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's a lot of Survivor, but we'll get back to more variety next week in addition to more Survivor. If you liked this episode, hit that like button. If you want to see next week's episode, subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.